Hey everyone, I'm Austin.
And I'm Mitch.
And this is Super Platinum Achievement in what is going on at Ubisoft. We will discuss that right quick here. But first, if you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down there. We appreciate it. It helps us out a ton. Also, if you like this video at the end, please give it a nice big thumbs up and share it to all your friends. So yeah, Ubisoft, they're pretty up there usually every year with good games. No one really has complaints too much about them, but what's going on right now? So they just canceled 6 projects that they've been working on and it doesn't sound like they were like new projects, so they didn't really talk about what it is. And then they also delayed Skull and Bones again.
I think this is the 284th time they've delayed it, something like that.
I think they first announced it when Pirates were still on the water.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on, and it makes me wonder. Obviously they haven't announced like what the games were. Like, we're hoping it's not the Star Wars game. We know Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming this year, and but beyond that, we don't really know.
We know one of them. They did say one of them, and it was their VR Splinter Cell project.
That's right.
The actual Splinter Cell reboot is still up in the air on if that one was canceled.
Yeah, they haven't announced what it is, so. But I've been looking back, and we always talk about like Ubisoft's always a pretty solid developer, and they are as a whole, but they've kind of made some bad mistakes lately. I'm looking back. Far Cry 6, not that good.
Nope.
Before that was with Tom Clancy's The Breakpoint, not that good.
Yeah, that was a big flop.
They've delayed games. Then they've kind of done the Xbox route where they announce games so long ago,
and then don't come out.
And then don't come out. Like, obviously, Skull and Bones is one of them. Like, it's still there. And
Avatar seems to be the next one.
Yeah, Avatar, Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, that's been almost 10 years.
Oh man, I forgot about that
exactly.
one again.
So
because they announced it and then they re-announced it, and then it died again.
So, and I'm wondering if that is one of the games that they just canceled. It
could be.
So I don't know what's going on over there, and they need to figure out what they're doing. I think they're kind
in trouble.
They're kind of in a weird flux, and I know like a couple months ago when all the dialogue of buying big studios like Microsoft and Sony, like who should they buy next? There was the idea of like Sony buying Ubisoft, and Ubisoft
basically said we're for sale.
We're for sale, and we're at the time we're like, oh, I know who they're doing fine. Why would they need to be purchased? Now we're like, you know what? Maybe they're like, maybe we could use some help. So I'm kind of puzzled at what's going on here, because we know they are one of the few game companies that really do support their games for such a long time after launch. So it's kind of concerning that they are laying off people. They're not getting new projects out. I mean, they're still pushing Rainbow Six Siege. That's been out for almost 10 years. It feels 2015, I think, is when that came out originally.
They've got their new plans for Assassin's Creed. They're helping produce the Assassin's Creed Netflix show that comes out this year.
Yes.
So they've got stuff they're still working on, but there's a lot of issues going on. And with them saying, hey, we're for sale, it makes me wonder if there's, like you said, there's a lot more issues behind the curtain that we don't know about, and they really need bailed out. Which, with the likelihood that this Activision Blizzard deal doesn't go through with Xbox, maybe that's their next target. If it doesn't go through, Xbox is like, we're going to try and buy Ubisoft instead, which is a much smaller target than Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
And I think they could get away with that one, because there's enough competition to compete with that. Call of Duty doesn't have any competition.
Yeah.
There's Assassin's Creed competition. There's Rainbow Six competition. Call of Duty. there's competition for all their games. They could get away with that one.
They would own the open world market, though, with Bethesda and Ubisoft.
They would. Or maybe Sony tries it first and is like, all right, if the Activision deal does go through, which is not likely.
Yeah, I think it was going to be almost a fallback plan for Sony to buy Ubisoft if this Activision deal went through, because Ubisoft has experience with shooter games, with open world games. Obviously, they're like the king of open worlds, but I think that's also been their crux. I think they have these large worlds that are taking so much time to develop that they're probably falling behind on development for a lot of games, and that's probably why they've canceled them. And that might be evident because they've already announced that Assassin's Creed Mirage will be a way scaled down game compared to the last several Assassin's Creed that will focus more on story and be kind of more similar to the original Assassin's Creeds.
Not a bad thing.
But no, I agree, because I think my issue with the last three, Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, they were almost too big. There was so much to do, and like, you know, Mitch and I were both completionists. We want to do everything, and it's really hard to do that one. Especially Odyssey was the worst when you had to go sail everywhere, and that was just like, it took you out of it. It wasn't as fun. I didn't feel like I was stealthing, sneaking around, and killing people with my hidden blade. It was just,
They tried to capture the sailing factor of Black Flag,
Yes.
but Black Flag was a much smaller scale, which is not small, but smaller than Odyssey was.
yeah, Odyssey was
So
the biggest they've done.
maybe they're just trying to reset here and get back to what their roots are, make better games,
Yeah.
especially after the failure of Far Cry 6, which was a huge disappointment.
And Breakpoint, I think,
Breakpoint.
was also another big disappointment.
Watch Dogs.
Yep.
Legion.
Watch Dogs, that was a big,
That was a
big,
big
flop. And then
last-
and their attempt to trying to get into the battle royale scene did not work either.
That died
Hyperscape.
Yeah. So right now they've got Rainbow Six.
So, yeah, I think what they need to do is the opposite of what they've been doing. They've been doing quantity over quality. I think they need to scale it back and do, you know, bring back quality over quantity. I also think most gaming companies need to do that.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Don't be trying to be so showy of what you're working on. Just work on it, get it done, then announce it when it's getting close to being ready. I think gamers would appreciate that more than just being strung along, like we've been getting from
A lot recently.
a lot of companies have been doing that. So, yeah, because we don't really know, and now we don't know what's going on with because people are now moving around and all that stuff, like the Star Wars game.
That's been MIA. We got some news on it a while ago. We don't know how reliable it is. That, you know, it's going to be like the Starfield of Star Wars kind of thing. Actually, more so with like No Man's Sky. And
Yeah.
you can actually do the real-time travel to planets. You choose your own story with either whatever you choose, being a Sith, a Jedi, a bounty hunter, a smuggler. That's the rumors of all this stuff, which would just be a huge game if that's true. So maybe they canceled all these other projects
on this.
because they want to focus on this giant Star Wars game.
And
who knows?
And hopefully they can bring back Splinter Cell, like the remake that they discussed. That now we have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah.
Maybe bring back a solid, you know, Ghost Recon game. I don't know. You have this Tom Clancy franchise, and you're not really using it. Is the biggest problem.
And I think their big potential could be with Rainbow Six being a more flushed out FPS.
Yeah.
Because they've got Rainbow Six Siege, which is good for what it is, but it's very small in comparison.
It's become very arcadey, actually.
Yes, it really is.
Unfortunately.
And they tried doing other things, but that was a big failure. That was the other one, Rainbow Six
Extraction. That's I knew I had one more in my mind of a big failure that they've had in like the last recent years.
Because that wasn't anything creative. It was trying to do the same thing as Rainbow Six Siege with sort of zombies.
So they had
Ish.
they had a zombies mode, limited mode in Siege. People loved it, so like let's make a game about it, and then it didn't.
Didn't do well.
So
they need to really focus in, like Austin said, on a few things. Maybe flush out Rainbow Six into a more, you know, online multiplayer. Maybe make a campaign for it once again. Who would have thought? Yes, those are still popular. Do stuff like that. Who knows? But Ubisoft is in some trouble. Hopefully they don't go belly up because they make some great games. When they make great games.
Yeah.
But
It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Been a couple years.
But I mean, some of the best games of all time have come from them, and we hope that they are doing okay and that they can get up and going again.
But
we have high hopes for them.
With the way they're approaching the new Assassin's Creed, it gives me hope that they are, you know, we're like, okay, let's just scale it back a little bit. So,
but at the same time, maybe someone's going to scoop them up. Unfortunately, looks like the three possible are obviously Tencent's been buying everybody. We got Sony, we got Microsoft. Obviously, if Microsoft Activision deal goes through, I think they're going to be cut off from buying anybody else for a long time.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't go through, they're going to try to do something else.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Nobody's got a crystal ball to see what's going to happen. What do you guys think about Ubisoft's recent struggles? We love to chat with you in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to smash subscribe button down below. Share with your friends, and we sure hope to see you again soon on
Super Platinum Achievement.
Okay, bye.